You launch, you embrace the dip, you know it's coming. That's when you can say, okay, I'm workshopping, I'm in the arena, and that's going to be when you unlock growth, not on that first launch day. In this episode, we are talking about launching. So I want to tackle right up front, right off the bat, the life of a launch, because I have seen this over and over and over again. At Mighty Networks, our job is actually to help create hundreds of launches a month. And so what I see over and over and over again is the following. Somebody gets super excited about creating that community, launching it with courses and challenges and memberships and events, all of that fun pre-launch planning, setting it up. We have this moment where we are imagining just the absolute home run launch. We go ahead and launch it, and 99% of things go perfectly, and one thing goes wrong. And here's what I have seen and also perhaps experienced myself, which is it is so easy after you've done the launch, you've gotten it out there, you've talked to people, you've done all the things that you planned on and envisioned, and you have that moment after your launch where you hit the dip. It's the thing that didn't go right. It's the thing where you're like, wait a second, what just happened? I thought it was going to be this and it's this. Here's the thing. First and foremost, that dip is absolutely natural. I have launched things that have been an absolute home run and delivered millions of dollars in revenue. And I've also launched things that have been complete busts. In both cases, I have felt the dip. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, am I going to feed the dip? Am I going to let it happen and then quit? Because that happens a lot of times. We're in the dip, we quit. Or am I going to power through to what I call workshopping, which is to start to understand what are those 99 things that went right and what's behind that one thing that went wrong. And the ability to stay curious in this process of workshopping is probably one of the most important things any of us can learn, any of us can build a muscle around. And then this is the beautiful thing. Workshopping is the real launch, because only through workshopping are you going to unlock growth. So this whole notion that you are going to launch something and it's going to be a home run. I mean, the number of social media stories and candidly, all of these Silicon Valley software companies that are like, I just put it out there and I don't know what happened. It went viral overnight. It's all BS. The amount of emails and DMs and prompts and all these things happening behind the scenes to make a launch happen, but then it's what you do after the launch. I today embrace the dip. I know it's coming. I accept it. I'm like, okay, I'm in the dip. I just launched something. Probably be in a dip after launching this podcast. But then I know that after I give myself a little bit of a break, come back, recommit to workshopping, staying curious, to take those 99 things that went right, celebrate them, and have that one thing that you were like, yeah, that was going to work, but then it doesn't quite work. Go ahead and be curious about it. That's when you unlock growth. So as you think about the launch, and we've got a specific launch formula where it's like, I'll announce it. Here's the way you set up your pitch, your launch announcement with the hook and with your big purpose and with your community design plan, which is basically your offer. And then that price, which we talked about in the last episode, that all works great. But I really want to encourage you to plan out your launch to be, yes, there's the pre-launch period where it's like you dream as big as you dream and you push it to be as ambitious as you possibly can. You launch, you embrace the dip, you know it's coming, and then schedule out for yourself workshopping. That it's like, okay, now we're going to learn what people like, what they don't, what they're interested in, what they're not interested in, that the structure that we were pretty convinced was going to work actually doesn't work. But you know what? This one thing over here is got a lot of energy to it. Why don't we triple down? And what would it look like to triple down on that? Then that's when you can say, okay, I'm workshopping, I'm in the arena, and that's going to be when you unlock growth, not on that first launch day. So hopefully that's a little bit more color on launching than perhaps what we tackled initially in the masterclass alone. And with that, I'll take a question.
Hi, Gina. I'm curious about how much content I really need to launch. I think I have a lot, but I maybe don't have enough. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
This is the most common question that I get from anyone who has an audience. And actually, to be fair, people who don't have an audience. The question is really based in the fact that in social media, and then what's kind of trickled into courses and other content-based businesses. But let's talk about social media, because that's really the way that you build an audience in social media is you post 5 times a day. And you post valuable content, and you post it early and often and in 4 different formats. And you have to do it on any platform that you want to have a following. So naturally, when you come to a community, and especially a community that ideally comes from your audience, your first place you're going to go if you are a creator is, I need content. People, I hear this all the time. In fact, I heard this last week. People are coming to my community for me. Offer one-on-one coaching in my community, or join my community to get more time with me. Please don't do this, because number one, you do not have more time to one-on-one coach and spend with other people. You are already building so much content for social media. So the whole point of People Magic Profit is to give you a strategy, who you're bringing together. Again, you're bringing together people in transition because they're the most motivated to meet each other, offering them their best year ever because it's about them, not you. Pulling that together in a big purpose or a format that they can hear your pitch. We bring together who you bring together, your ideal member, so that we can. And then it's about their results, their transformation. Then monthly themes, a weekly calendar, daily polls and questions. That's your content. Yeah, maybe you have a welcome video. That's the bulk of your content, because what you're doing with that is you're not setting up your members to consume. You're setting up your members to go on a quest with each other. This is the most important thing. So any content that you build should be in service of that quest that your members are going on together. As part of that quest, it's about how you prompt your members to do things, to build relationships with each other, to take action that maybe they would never take on their own, to be a part of experiences that, again, offer them insights from the experience you're creating for them. These are the kinds of things that you get to build. And it is the fastest path to $1 million business. So much faster, so much more profitable than content, because people are actually taking what you are offering them and running with it and bringing it into their own lives. You are essentially creating identity, not content consumers. That's the power of People Magic. And that's why People Magic is so profitable, is because members are taking your concepts and turning them into experiences and relationships with other members in their real life. So, how much content do you need? Significantly less than you need in any other environment. Certainly, you do not need to be posting 5 times a day. Certainly, you do not need a full course that is perfectly created and professionally produced that exists the minute your members join. You are putting together and designing your members going on a quest together. And so the content is those monthly themes. A content is your weekly calendar and member profiles and give and ask and helping your members think bigger, creating hopefully a sexier way of saying accountability and accountability groups, and building the culture of your community. That's the power. And then if you want to build more content, God bless you. You can absolutely go do that. But don't do it at the expense of monthly themes, a weekly calendar, and daily polls and questions, again, which are really easy to set up. And whatever you do, really try to push yourself not to offer, even as bonuses, a bunch of additional content. Because I think we are at a moment and a time of peak content. You think you're providing value and bonuses and amazing information for people. I think increasingly members are starting to hear, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed by that. In fact, actually, we hear that a lot. I'm overwhelmed. I now feel pressure to do a lot of work. And what you really want to do is to build this amazing environment and almost the story of the quest that they're going to go on. How they go from their ordinary world and into this new magical community where they're going to meet their allies. They're going to actually have challenges and enemies. It typically is that transition your members are in. They're going to do things together, and they're going to come out the other side with results and transformation that they can't get on their own. And they are going to be excited to take on that next quest, which is why your community will have extraordinary engagement, and also why your community will have extraordinary retention. And also, all of a sudden, more and more of your members will bring in other members without gamification, without affiliate programs, without extrinsic motivation. Because when you really create these experiences, again, not with content, but with relationships and connection, word of mouth, which will always be the absolute most powerful form of marketing, will attract new members into your community. It is special. It is different. It is not the content treadmill. And while that might be a little scary for people that have really staked their brand on content and content production, I just want to encourage you to stay open to the idea that content in service of relationships and sparking relationships, that's the future, because people love people. They love learning from others' stories, experiences, and ideas. And that's what you can create. And it's also why it is such a valuable, not just business, but experience that you're creating for your members. And that's today's episode. I'm Gina Bianchini, and this is People Magic. Thanks for listening to People Magic. Want more of a deep dive on today's topic? Well, check out People Magic Profit, my 9-part free masterclass on how to launch your own wildly profitable paid membership and community. Do you have your own burning questions you'd like me to discuss on this podcast? Well, I want to hear them. So leave your questions in the review section and keep tuning in.